to Velocity, the Vista Chamber podcast. I'm your host, Chamber CEO Rachel Beld, and it is my privilege to interview the movers, shakers, and changemakers impacting our amazing Vista community and beyond. If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. Be sure to check out some of our previous episodes, such as my chat with Vista Mayor Judy Ritter, now in her last term, or Danny Villasenor, whose family has owned and operated Pepper Tree Frosty for over 60 years. Let me know what you think on our socials, at Velocity Vista Pod. I'm thrilled to welcome today's guest, Alexis Panchevre. Did I get it?
Yep.
Okay. Panchevre, Director of Only Losers Litter and the Secretary for BackFence Society. BackFence Society is a nonprofit art group that started Only Losers Litter as a community trash cleanup project back in January of 2017. Alexis is also a talented mixed media artist, and she hosts paint and sip classes. Alexis works as the office manager of Quality Lock and Security Services in downtown Vista and has lived here since her family moved here when she was in elementary school. She's also a self-proclaimed cat lady, and I proclaim her a cool chick. And I'm especially happy to have her here for our Earth Day episode. Welcome, Alexis.
Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all those nice things.
Oh, it's so great to have you here and to see you.
Yes, thank you for this. Building is beautiful. I've never taken the full tour, so thank you for that.
Sure.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. Also, if you're watching the video version, you'll see that we have a beautiful trophy here on the table. We just gave it to Alexis because BackFence Society won Best Overall Entry in the Christmas Parade back in December. And since it's the first time I've seen you since then, we wanted to give you your trophy. So if you're tuning in on the video version, you get to peep that. So that's cool. Okay, so first of all, I need to know, what are your cats' names?
Honda and Clutch.
Okay.
So I have a boy and a girl. Honda is my big 20-pounder.
Wow.
And Clutch is our little normal size 10-pounder.
I love the names. Why the car influence?
So actually, my fiance Mike is really into Honda motorcycles.
Okay.
And that was kind of like the deal. Like, I can have the cats, and he could just name them. So
Sounds fair.
we already have the third cat's name picked out.
Okay.
If this cat ever comes into our life, that will be little Sprocket.
Okay.
So any excuse to get more cats is cool with me, and I don't care. I don't call them Honda and Clutch anyway.
Yeah. You have your little cute names for them.
Whatever. Pretty much they'll come to whatever. So
That's great.
yeah.
Well, you feed them, so they come.
100%. They
Yeah.
are food motivated, especially the big one.
Yeah. Well, of course. Okay. Okay. So I want to know, tell me about growing up in Vista. What were your favorite things about our community from your childhood?
So my family moved here, I think, third or fourth grade. And so I went to pretty much all of the schools. And one of my favorite things was actually when I was at Roosevelt Middle School, and we had a multi-sport after-school program. And what we did, it was kind of like my first little dip into like really like recycling almost. I mean, at like the sixth grade level, you're kind of like, oh, well, maybe we should definitely have learned more about that. But we recycled and started a recycling program in our school to fund our after school group. And we did things like kayaking. We would ride our bikes from Roosevelt down to the bike path down to the Oceanside Harbor and back. Mm-hmm. And it was just a lot of fun. And that was probably one of the coolest things I thought was that bike path right there. And technically it's not really Vista, but
It's adjacent.
It's adjacent, and it's really close, and we're gonna piece that together real soon here. So
Absolutely.
That'll be the coolest thing ever. I can't wait for that.
Yes, that will be great. The completion of the bike trail would be super great. Yeah.
That's huge. I
Huge.
love that.
Well, so what led you to art? What led you to be an artist?
Wow. Pretty much everyone in my family is creative in some way or another, either musically, artistically. My mom is like an arts and crafts kind of extraordinaire. So it's kind of both of my parents. My dad is a fine wood craftsman. So I was always kind of surrounded by people who would just make stuff. So music wise, grandmother plays the piano, and my dad had plays every instrument as well. So it was kind of always in art groups or in art school, classes, just all of the things, art. And then I actually wasn't doing anything with my art personally. And then my mom signed me up for one of those paint and sip classes. And it was when there was the winery over here on Main Street.
Right, 50 Barrels.
50 Barrels, yeah. That's right. And that's where I met my now kind of boss, who hosts the paint and sip classes through Hooked on Painting. And she kind of was like, hey, do you want to teach this? And I had like not painted since I was in high school. And, you know, that was like 6 years ago. And then all of a sudden I was teaching all the paint classes. And then I met Sarah Spinks, and she got me, you know, involved with BackFence Society, which is an art nonprofit group here in Vista, and doing group art shows and just kind of being involved in that community. And then that actually led me to Only Losers Litter. So
great. Well, that's
it all kind of comes back around to art.
Yeah, absolutely. That's actually, so I wanted to ask you, so Only Losers Litter is a monthly trash pickup. And how does that connect to art? Like, how do you jump from art to trash?
So it did start with Sarah.
Okay.
And so when she decided to make BackFence like a 501c3, like a legit kind of more put together organization, she had already kind of had Only Losers Litter in her head. And I don't know if she had already done maybe a trash art show that was also corresponding with that. But I want to say that she already had that in her head, and she had been tattooing me. And she just kind of asked me if I wanted to be involved, because I had told her over the course of our sessions that I wanted to be more involved in the art stuff. And she would talk to me more about that. And I was just like, you know what? That's something that I can do something about. Like, that is an actionable item that I can just immediately see results with. And that's the kind of stuff that I like to do. Right. And so we started talking about it. She got funding from the Women's Club of Vista, and we started it as a community volunteer group, right, campaign, but we wanted everybody to dress funky. So we were really pushing at the first like 4 or 5 years, everybody just dressed as wacky as possible.
Like capes.
We have
and
our
hats.
capes.
Yeah.
So basically pre-COVID is we were wearing our capes that one of our community members made for us, which is awesome. And so it was performative art. So we were using this as a performative art tool to get into the community and start conversations with people. So they would see a group of, 20 or 30 kind of loony looking people out in the park picking up trash, and that really invites people to start a conversation of, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, what is all this about? And we've had people stop, like, just on their walks in the middle of their day, they see what we're doing, just stop and start picking up with us. So it's a really visually, kind of like jarring thing to see a bunch of strangely dressed people picking up trash. And hopefully it was an inviting feel. So
yeah,
as COVID winds down, we'll get back to
the crazy outfits.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about the zombie trash walk. So that I know is an annual specialty pickup.
That is our special pickup, and we highly encourage those pickups. We kind of correspond them a little bit to Halloween. And, back in 2017, like Walking Dead was really huge. It's still, I'm sure it's still on. I actually don't know.
There's still some zombie culture.
There's some zombie culture. So, but it was really big back in 2017. And we were like, how cool is this to have like a large performative kind of cleanup? And so that's really what it is, bringing it back to the art kind of aspect of it. So we always meet at BackFence in downtown Vista. We always focus those cleanups to be around downtown Vista. And families come out and they dress up like zombies, and everybody has their own interpretation, and people go all out. And we usually give away some sort of prize to our, most zombie looking person. And we've even had little kids come out with just little, we've had dogs come out dressed up. Like
that's cute.
A lot of fun, and it's so cute.
Well, and it takes something that could be tedious or gross and makes it more fun.
Absolutely.
And I love the tie-in with basically being a zombie, not using your brain and littering, I mean, obviously the zombies are cleaning up the trash, but I love that connection of like, let's all use our brains and not litter.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Because the amount of trash that you guys pick up is
It's incredible.
It's incredible. Tell me about some of the kooky things you found. If they're family friendly.
Family friendly kooky things that we found. I mean,
I think one time I saw a picture of like a microwave.
We found an entire, back over on the creek side, we found, it looks like somebody got kicked out maybe, an entire laundry basket full of somebody's pots and pans and like their pressure cooker and just like silverware. But it was just like, it had fallen off of the truck or
like a kitchen to go.
Something happened and it's just like a whole little kitchen right here. And you're just like,
somebody's missing that.
Stuffed behind a bush. Somebody's missing that.
Yeah.
You know, there's like, I like to call it like incidental trash. There's this stuff that falls out of your pockets, your little bits and pieces, but then there's like their deliberately dumped stuff.
Yeah.
We've picked up cornhole games, like the big panel boards, cornhole games.
So random.
So random. Various pieces of undergarments that you're just like,
somebody should be wearing this.
Somebody showed up wearing this and they left not wearing this. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
All kinds of unfamily friendly things.
Yeah. And cigarette butts. Lots and lots and lots of cigarette butts.
Oh, so many cigarette butts.
I think at the art show you mentioned earlier that Sarah did, or that she led with all the recycled trash and the reused trash, I think there was something that somebody made just all out of cigarette butts.
So she made that.
Okay, Sarah made that.
It's a gorgeous piece, and I believe it says Think, and it's all cigarette butts, and it is hanging in BackFence Society, I do believe.
Okay.
And it is like, it's something that you really have to think about. Like, you look at that and you're like, oh wow, like look at that huge piece of art, like wow, that's so cool. And then the closer you get to it, the more horrifying it becomes, because you really do see every individual butt on there and you're just like,
just it's the impact of one butt, and then it becomes 1,000 butts.
Absolutely. And then knowing how tedious it is to pick up those butts. It's near impossible, you know, when you have like the mulch on the sides. Just picking on downtown, you know, where they have the mulch and stuff on the little in-between planters. Yeah. It's almost impossible to even see them when you're walking by. But once you stop and look at them, you literally have to sit down and individually pick up every single one. And it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
Well, so if you're listening and you're a smoker, throw your butts in the trash, in the ash can.
Please.
Save Alexis.
Please.
Save Alexis. Well, so, I mean, I believe that living in a trash-free environment really connects. It's just the first step in caring for our planet. Yeah. So do you agree that really cleaning up our trash is really just like the fundamentals of caring for the earth?
Absolutely. I mean, that is like step one and almost the only one that's really within your immediate grasp. You know what I mean? Like, you're really just responsible for yourself. And if, like I said, there's incidental things like your gum wrapper falls out of your, you know, pocket or whatever when you're reaching for your, of course. Like, I'm not saying like go ahead and burn them at the stakes, every single person that litters. But you know, there is a reason why the name of our organization is called Only Losers Litter. Like, it is meant to be an impactful statement. It is meant to really sit there and think about like, hey, like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm just gonna open my car door and let all of my fast food trash spill out, and I'm just gonna close my door and drive away. Like, there is something missing. There's something missing there. So
yeah, that's the zombie approach.
That's the zombie approach. So whether, you know, and that's kind of like the name of the game, trying to figure out how to make change. If there's a trash can there, yeah, more people are more likely to use it if it's readily available and if it's empty and usable. But you're still going to have those people that don't. So how do you reach it? And that's a question that I keep trying to ask myself, and that many groups that I'm a part of have continued to ask themselves and try to get answers to.
Do you ever get frustrated when you're walking and you're just like, we just cleaned this area and now there's trash here again? I mean, do you ever feel kind of bummed out that you have to keep doing it?
Absolutely. And that is a little bit of a challenge. And that might just be for me personally.
I think anyone, if you keep working towards an effort and you have to go backwards and do it again.
It is, especially when I'm, you know, just walking around my own neighborhood, when it's my own street, and when I could walk every single week and fill up a 5-gallon bucket on my one street every single week. And I used to make posts about it, and I would say, you know, new trash, same street, like what's going on here? And I stopped making the post. I still do it, but I stopped making the post because I was starting to sound resentful in them. And that's not what I wanted to do. I like picking up trash. So when I see the trash on the ground, it's kind of like a hot and cold reaction where it's like, yeah, I love the aftermath. Like I love seeing a clean area, especially if I'm walking in my neighborhood. I want to see a clean area. So I do like the activity of picking it up, but the necessity of having to pick it up it's a little hard to swallow sometimes.
Well, it's good to hear that you approach it from a joyful perspective, that you know you're connecting with your community, you're helping make it better for other people. But I could see that occasionally you'd be like, man, I just picked up something and now there's something there. So I get the kind of the two sides of that same action, the joy of it, but also just the bummer part of, you know, maybe someday it would be so great if we didn't have to have trash pickups. That would be a really cool thing.
And that's, I've made jokes and said that before as well. It's funny that you said that. You know, I would love to not have to do this. It would be great to not have this to be a necessity. And we're not the only trash cleanup group in Vista. There are several others that are operating weekly, you know, kind of whenever they can. There's people that I just talked to that just message me on social media or just talk to on the street while I'm picking up by myself. They're like, oh yeah, I do this on my street too. And it seems like there are a lot of people that care and a lot of people doing it. We just have to figure out how to get ahead of it. So,
well, I know our council member Karina Contreras does a Wednesday trash walk.
Absolutely.
In her district. And there's a whole bunch of community volunteers that show up and help. And it's always nice. I know she'll usually post, you know, like a live video while she's doing it. And it's genuine. She cares about the community, and that's why she's out. All of you who are picking up trash are just trying to make things better, and that's a really great thing. I want to get back to art for 1 second because one of the things I wanted to ask you is just, you shared about your whole family is creative. Everybody kind of has an artistic streak. So why do you think art is so important, maybe for you, for your family, or really for the culture of our community? Why do you think art's so important?
I think art brings people together. I really think that you can reach a very specific audience with your art. You can reach a broad audience with your art. You can reach an unexpected audience with your art. Like there's just a lot of community involvement there.
That's great.
Yeah, and that's mostly why I wanted to join and be more involved with BackFence, because I was like, hey, like I love this community. Like this is so cool. Like how do I be a part of this, and how do I add to this? How do I make this even better? Like not that I could make it better, but you know what I mean?
Right. Well, just
how can I add to this? How can I add my little piece to this to like just be part of this community?
So Only Losers Litter's reach has really grown, and now I know your group has adopted a section of the freeway.
Yes.
So tell me what that means and how did that come to be?
Okay, so through the Caltrans Adopt a Highway program.
Okay.
And one of our good friends and environmental activist, Janice Jones, she had given us a suggestion because I think she saw another group had adopted a portion of the highway through that program too, and said, hey, like this looks like something that, you know, would be interesting. Like she kind of gave me the nudge. I contacted Caltrans and they made it super easy. We got a permit and we have an on-ramp. So the 78 westbound ramp on Melrose, right across from Coco's Bakery.
Oh.
Yeah, so that little kind of corner is our corner, and we go do a cleanup there once a month, and it is trashy. It could probably be cleaned every single week. It's bad.
But the rules of the program only allow you to do it once a month, or is that you just have capacity for once a month?
The obligation is once a month. If we could coordinate it, we probably could. Right now we have a pretty small group that goes out there. You do have to do a little bit of a safety orientation, and you are on the side of the freeway, so I don't open those up to the public like we do with our monthly trash walks. This is kind of just our little core group, just kind of getting out there and, with our work boots and our hard hats and our
right. People that are going to follow the rules, stay safe.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, it's such important work cleaning up Vista, and particularly those on-ramps. They can be so
thank you.
gross. So thank you so much for all the work that you do there. So I want to ask you if there's anything that you want to share with our listeners about Only Losers Litter or about BackFence, like any events that you want to share.
Yeah, so our next Only Losers Litter trash walk is going to be March 27th.
Okay.
And that's going to be at 3 p.m. And we're going to meet at the BackFence Society parking lot. And that's at 110 South Citrus Avenue, Suite F in Vista. And we're going to meet there at 3 p.m. And we're just going to kind of, I always see up on Eucalyptus needs a lot of help. Downtown can always use a little kind of once through. So depending on how many people, it's just how far can we reach out from that spot.
Great. And then what about in April? Because this will come out in April.
Okay. Oh,
that's okay.
If
you don't have a date for April?
I have not planned a date for April yet. But you can follow us on Only Losers Litter's Facebook page.
Okay.
And I do put them on the event calendar on there. We do have an Instagram page as well. I need to get a little bit better about posting on there a little bit more in advance and not usually like day before. That is something that I will definitely try to get better at. But I definitely keep the Facebook updated.
Okay.
So if you follow us on there, you can see what events we have calendared out. And yeah, it would be great to see kids, families, anybody that wants to come out and just hang out for an hour and just pick up a little bit of trash. We provide the gloves, the buckets, the pickers. If you need a walking buddy, we're not going to let you walk alone. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Cool. And then what about anything for BackFence?
Okay, so for BackFence Society, we have an artist bazaar coming up on April 24th. And then BackFence Society will be partnering with the Vista Art Foundation to be putting on the Alley Art Festival on June 11th at Green Oaks Ranch.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see Alley Art Festival come back.
Same. It's so much fun. We just had a little planning committee meeting yesterday, and we were talking about the parade of puppets that kind of kicks off every festival, and just we're going to have a lot of bands. So it's going to be a really fun event. Definitely family friendly. They're going to be make and take events for the kids. Hopefully like a little reading area with a little mini library. So I hope to see everybody come through for that.
That's great.
That'd be awesome.
That's great. I do have to just give a little shout out to Maureen Barrick,
Yes.
who it was kind of her vision that started the Alley Art Festival.
Yes.
And we miss her so, but I'm glad to see that her vision continues and that lives on, even though she has passed away. But
Lives on and growing.
absolutely,
It's so
love
cool.
it, love it. Okay, so at the end of every episode, I always ask a few rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So here we go. So I want to ask you a book you think everyone should read, or a book that was impactful for you.
So I don't know if I could name just one. I read all kinds of sci-fi and horror when I was a kid. You could probably find me reading anything by Dean Koontz at any point in time.
Great author.
And that's just kind of where I like
I'll
to
take
be.
it. I'll take it. That's great. He's a great author. Okay. Tell me a song. You've always got to turn it up. It comes on the radio. You're singing. You're jamming out. Tell me a song that you love. And as an artistic person, I'm sure that changes like every day or every hour. So what's on your mind right this minute?
It could literally be anything by Celine Dion.
Okay.
And I will be happily belting along.
Okay.
Happily.
I want to see this.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Do you sing karaoke?
Oh, love it.
Okay.
Absolutely love it. And actually, I just bought a ticket to go see the Troubadours.
Oh.
The Carole King and James Taylor at the Moonlight.
Yes, it's going to be such a
excited
great
for that.
show.
Yes, I'm excited.
It's going to be a great show.
So I do love Carole King too.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me something that inspires you.
Oh, something that inspires me. I would just seeing other people doing good work inspires me. It really makes me want to be involved and do something impactful. So anytime I see anybody doing something awesome, like you over here doing this podcast, I think it's like that's inspiring to me. I love to see people loving doing what they're doing.
Thank you. That's great. Well, I think I agree with you. Action spurs action for me. I see somebody taking action. Yes. I'm inspired. I want to take action.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay, last thing. Tell me a Vista business you think deserves a shout out and why. I know there's so many great businesses.
There's so many great businesses. That's not even fair.
I never said I was fair.
Oh, that's not a fair question. I mean, I think I kind of have to shout out where I work, right? Quality Lock.
Of course.
Security services in downtown for all your locksmith needs.
And now Quality Lock has been in business a long time.
27 years.
Yeah, I was thinking like almost 30 years.
Like, very.
They totally deserve a shout out.
Totally shout out, right?
Yeah.
And we have, we're redoing our showroom right now. So
cool.
Stop on in. Another business, let's see. That is so hard. How about Public Lemon?
Okay.
They're brand new. Tracy's not brand new. The owner, the lovely owner, proprietor. She's not brand new, but I love having Public Lemon there on the corner. It's just such a fun little place, and Tracy's so sweet.
And so many cute finds in there.
Oh my God, so many cute finds. It's sometimes I have to go in there with the blinders on so I don't accidentally leave it everything.
When I go in to talk about anything that's like downtown related or organizational, I just leave my purse in the car.
Oh, smart.
Otherwise, I'm sorry, Tracy, but I leave my purse in the car because otherwise I'll buy all the things.
I go, you know what? I bought a beautiful plant from her when she just started, a beautiful spider plant, and now it is like thriving and it's gorgeous. It's like the only plant I've ever been able to keep alive.
That's great. I kill all my plants.
So I send her updates about my plant.
Oh, she probably loves it. That's great. That's great. Well, thank you so much, Alexis. I want to thank my guest, Alexis, for joining me today for this episode of Velocity, the Vista Chamber podcast. And thank you all for listening. If you like what you heard, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and tell a friend. Help us move Vista forward with Velocity. The Vista Chamber of Commerce is a nonprofit organization which serves as a catalyst to business growth. Visit us online at vistachamber.org.